Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Mama Christine's podcast, Living Life Through Experience. I believe we are in week 16. Oh my God, time flies. All right, so tonight I want to have a discussion about something that I think a lot of people don't really pay much attention to or don't think that there can be some kind of emotional or mental connection to. And that is having a lot of stuff, okay? And the reason why I want to bring it up, because it recently came up in a conversation I was having with somebody, and I'm like, wow, yeah, I don't think a lot of people realize we have this, I'll call it a problem, okay? And I can recognize it well because I used to be that person. And today I think it has become a major problem for a lot of people, mainly because it is being pushed on us by social media, by news, by television, by many different avenues. And it's called feeling the need to own things. Okay? And maybe this isn't everybody, you know, it no longer is myself, but I still catch myself in my old ways of thinking. So what I'm talking about really is like hoarding. And maybe not to the extent like you see on the TV shows, but it's like the need to, oh, I need this. Oh, I need that. Oh, I could use that. Or this is great. Look at that commercial. Did you see this? And I need that. And it's like, oh, I love this shirt, but I wish I had one that looked like this. Well, let me go shopping. Oh, my clothes are dirty. Let me go shopping. All these different things. And it's like, oh, well, this isn't a trend anymore. Let me go shopping. And it's like there's constantly more and more and more that we need to feel like we fit in. And that's where that emotional, mental connection comes in, is having everything society thinks we should have so we fit in. Okay? Let's start with a card. And I'm going with the chakra deck tonight. This way, it's all about your energy, right? So here we go. Wisdom. Have the knowledge to know the difference, right? Green, heart chakra. What is your truth? What sits in your heart? What makes you happy? Buying things does not make you happy. It really doesn't. It makes you happy in the moment, but it does not make you happy permanently. Okay? The only way you can be happy is by you making yourself happy. By being okay with who you are, where you are, doing what you're doing, and doing what you love. And not caring one bit about what anybody else thinks. That's important. So wisdom. You have the wisdom, okay? I mean, as I'm looking at this, it's like the dove is for peace. You know, to me, the old man represents that old wisdom. And to me, the wisdom is also is a part of your intuition. And when your heart knows what it wants, it knows what it wants. You know, most of the time, you know, you may see something and something in your brain triggers like, oh, I want one of those, right? But that's, you think you need it and you don't. And that is where the problem lies, is we get pushed and pushed and pushed to fulfill a need that we really don't need. I was telling somebody last week, I said, you know, I think the two richest companies right now are storage unit companies and junk removal companies. Because, and I can attest to this, because when I sold my house 3 years ago, I could not believe the stuff I threw away, donated, gave away, sold. I'm like, granted, I did downsize, so I can see that. Like, my bedroom set that I did have was way too big for where I'm living now. And that was fine. But it's like, I had my attic space over my garage, I mean, was full. By the time I was finished, I had maybe 1/20th to take with me to my new space. I'm like, wow, right? We don't need all this crap. Really don't. So why do I have it? Why? Because you want to fit in. You want to be like other people. You want to, I don't know. What is your emotions and your mental part of you telling you? Why do you need these things? So again, it's following your heart, not what your head is saying. Your head is like, oh, get that because everybody else has got one. We don't want to do that. So by noticing that, I was like, oh my God. And I threw away a whole like small dumpster, like that it gets pulled by a truck, full of junk. oh my God, junk. And of course, I had been in my house for 22 years, so there was stuff that was really junk, like, an old bookcase that we left in the garage to store stuff in that was garage stuff, so that thing was falling apart. So I get that. But it's like, wow, what are we doing? Like, why do we have all this stuff? And granted, there are times where you could say, okay, well, wait a minute, such as myself, 22 years in a house I had a husband at that house. I had 3 kids. So yeah, they went from birth to 20 something years old when I sold the house. So yeah, there was stuff, extra bedding, extra towels, extra this, extra that. And it's like, okay, I don't need all that anymore because 2 out of 3 of my kids moved on to on their own as soon as from college right to their own space. So it was like, okay, so if it's just me and my son, I can really downsize. I don't need 6 cookie sheets. I don't need, 3 6-quart pans. So on and so forth. You know what I mean? So I donated a lot of stuff as well. Gave stuff away to anybody who wanted it, and the rest of it, if it was junk, it was junk. But, you don't realize, you just keep accumulating and accumulating. But why, again, do we do that? I can tell you that back then, I think every time the kids were in pre-K or whatever, and I was home not working, I would be out shopping. Oh, well, I need this at Walmart, or I need this over here. Let me pick some extra of this. Well, that's a cute shirt. Let me get that, And again, did I really need it? And many times, yeah, sure, I did. Because as a parent, a lot of times you leave yourself last. So everybody else gets new clothes because they're always growing out of them, and you don't always get yourself something. But, at the same time, I was like, wow, I found that doing stuff like that made me happy. And it's because I was in an unhappy relationship, and of course, nobody wants to see that part of it. And so you tend to find ways to bring happiness out. So, of course, maybe that day, I had a great day. I went shopping. I did some errands. I did this. I did that. But in all reality, I was just doing things to occupy my time. That's really what it was, because I didn't want to be home. And now I find that I can sit home and do nothing. I've done it many times. It's, yes, I have responsibilities to take care of, and I do that. But at the same time, I take care of me. I go out and do something I need to do for myself. Whether it's get my nails done or go for my haircuts, go for walks, sit home and relax, read a book, whatever it may be. Or work on writing my book that I'm working on now. Anything but not feeling the need to go out shopping to spend money to be happy. It's not there for me anymore. But I do catch myself in my head going, oh, like this past Monday, because I really had nothing to do. I met up with my daughter and my sister, and we went and had our toes done. And it was like, okay, now what am I going to do? I have nothing to do today. Oh my gosh, I did everything yesterday. I did my cleaning and laundry and all that. And I'm like, well, now what? I'm like, oh, no, I don't need to go shopping. No, I can wait for that. No, I don't need that right now. And I'm thinking, I hear this voice in my head is like, you could just sit still and do nothing. You could read your book. You could go for a walk. I'm like, I could. Because reading, going for walks, exercising, those things can make you probably even more happy than just being out doing something to occupy your time, or spending money, or buying more junk we don't need, and so on and so forth. So again, this is where I find that storage companies are like big time business right now. Why? Because people buy and buy and buy and buy and buy and buy. And then they have so much stuff they don't have nowhere to put it. Oh, so let me get a storage unit. Well, if you can do without it and by putting it in a storage unit, then you don't need it. Well, people don't see it that way. And I know there's many different reasons for having a storage unit. But again, why is it sitting there? If it's that important to you, it should be with you. And if it's not with you, do you really need it? And I know there's a million excuses. Oh, it's an antique. It's going to be worth money someday. It's going to be this and that and that and this. And I'm like, you know what? I got stuff when I was a baby, a toddler. And my mom saved coins and, all these different things. And it was like, I still have them. And I looked them up, and they're not worth crap. They're really not. I have a $1 coin, and it is silver, pure silver. It was before, it was the year I was born, where they still made them in silver. And I looked it up and it was like $1 was worth like 5. Oh, yippee. Yes, a great, from $1 to 5, it's a great increase. But still, I mean, okay, what am I going to do with $5? You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. A lot of times we think things are going to be worth so much money. They're not really. You know, we just hoard and hold on to these things just because it might be worth something, or just because it reminds us of somebody. Now, mind you, I am not a cold person. I have been accused of being a cold person because I don't hold on to stuff. But let me tell you this. When it comes to my parents, my grandparents, or anybody else I know that has passed away, everything I have with that person is right here in my heart. It's not in the little figurine. It's not in the sweater, the blanket that was crocheted. Get it? I know it's sentimental value. But do we need all of it? You don't. Because again, now you're hoarding other people's stuff because, oh, it means something. It doesn't mean something. Your memories mean something. The feelings you have to that person, when connected with that person, means something. So yes, maybe hold on to something, but not everything. And, you know, I think if people are holding on to so much stuff from someone they know who's passed, I think it's because you haven't healed. Because I'll be honest, anything that I do have from my parents, which is very little because I didn't want anything big, because I'm like, it's fine, I don't need it. Yeah, but it belonged to, it doesn't matter, I don't need it. Maybe somebody else can use it. I can honestly say I don't use any of it on a daily basis. I have a beautiful ring that was my mother's. And basically I wear one. I wear her wedding band on my right hand. And she had another beautiful gemstone ring, which was her birthstones. And it's sitting in a drawer. It really is. It's just sitting in a drawer. It's beautiful. I'd love to wear it, but I don't know. It just doesn't pull me to like, oh my God, take it to the jeweler, get it touched up, get it fixed, get it whatever it needs so you can wear it. And it's like, yeah. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. I really don't. But I find that, again, when we go back to the hoarding situation, hoarding comes in many different factors. It can be hoarding of stuff. It can be hoarding of garbage. It can be hoarding of anything you can get your hands on. It can be hoarding food. It can be hoarding whatever, okay? Why do people do that? People do that because they feel the need to hold on to something that makes them happy. It's just like compulsive shoppers. Why does someone go shopping? You hear it all the time. It's like, okay, it's a shopping therapy day. Let's go. There's that word therapy, meaning I've had a shit day and I'm going out shopping because it's going to make me feel better, which it does in the moment. If you're lucky enough to have the money to do it, great. But guess what? A lot of people don't, and they just charge, and then they get their bill and go, oh my God. So now people are putting themselves into debt because they need the shopping therapy. You know, it's a vicious circle that goes around and around and around. So, you know, think about it. If you have so much stuff laying around, ask yourself why. Why do I have this? And sometimes people know because it makes me happy when I go shopping, or it makes me happy when I eat all the things I love, or it makes me happy when whatever, okay? But again, those things do not make you happy. They allow you to feel happy in the moment. The only thing that can make you happy is you, which means through healing, through letting go, through the whole process. Because again, now take it back and back and back and back and back to whatever age you were when you realized you weren't happy. Maybe you didn't get the attention you needed. Maybe you didn't get the support you needed. Maybe, I don't know, maybe your parents or your peers were just nasty people and anything else makes you happy, so that's what you stick to. Only you know why you're unhappy. You know, people say, well, I'm not unhappy. I'm fine. I'm happy. And it's like, yeah, but if you're doing all these other things, it's showing that you're not completely happy because you feel the need that you have to do this because of whatever, right? So here we go. Release. So release, it's a gray card, which means it's that gray area. You know, maybe we don't know what we need to release. And that happens for a lot of people. what am I supposed to release? I don't know what's making me unhappy. A lot of times it is very heavy deep down within that subconscious that you don't have it here in the forefront, where you can say, oh, I know what it is. My dad was this, my mom was that, my teachers were this, whatever, you know what I mean? My peers, my religious people, who knows? Only you know. But again, sometimes it's stuck in that subconscious and it's hard to find out what is going on with us. So maybe this is where going to a therapist or a counselor would help. You know, I want to dig deep and get out what's really going on with me. Same thing, you could go see a counselor who does EMDR. That is an emotional mental release therapy that is very profound from what I've heard. I wish I could do it for people, but I'm not licensed to do those kinds of things. But I've heard people tell me one session and whatever needed to come up came up and came out, and it was like, wow, like unexpected. So, you know, it's a very good way to see what's going on with you, within you, in your subconscious, in that deep part of your mind that just doesn't want to show you anything. It's like you've hidden it back there, the dungeon, I'll call it, you know. But no, these things need to be released. They need to be let go. So again, why do you hold on to so much stuff? You know, it's like, you know, I remember growing up, you know, we had our everyday dishes, our everyday glasses, our everyday coffee mugs. But then when the holidays came around, it was like, oh, the special plates and the special silverware with the special glasses and the wine glasses and the coffee cups with saucers, and like only for holidays. Like, why? And aren't the holidays more about the people and why we're together and why we're celebrating, not what we're eating off of or drinking out of? And it was like, you know, people would have 2 and 3 sets of dishes, and it's like, why? You know, it was crazy. Even my own grandmother, I remember when she said to me, she says, I'm going to give you my silverware and I want you to split it with your sister. I was like, okay. So I'm thinking, what, I'm going to get a set of 4? Oh no, I got like a set of 12 or more, right? I'm like, oh my God, how much silverware does she have? Like, you know, it was crazy. It's like, why do we need so much? But it's the way it was. Because again, it was etiquette. It was society. It was like, this is how you do things, and this is what you need to have. And if you don't have these things, then you're considered poor, or, you know, not up with what society thinks you should be doing, and blah, 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 blah. You know, it's like, oh my God. I think we just need to learn that life is about ourselves. It's about including others in our life. It's about blending kindness, compassion, happiness, joy, being there for one another, being emotionally supportive, but still remembering to take care of yourself, because that's important. Because if you don't take care of you, you're not going to take care of anybody else. And it's not about the dishes. It's not about how many pairs of pants we have, or how many sweaters, or how many, you know, whatevers. Oh, the latest shoes, and, you know, 100 pairs of sneakers. And it's like, it's not about that, you know. And I think this is where we get stuck on what's right and what's wrong. You know, because again, somebody can turn around and say, oh, well, I have, you know, 50 pairs of shoes. Well, do you need 50 pairs of shoes? How long does it take you to get through 50 pairs of shoes? Even if you wear a different one every single day. I'm like, oh my God, yeah, it would take 50 days, but it's like, that, like, you know? And I'm like, I look at it today, like, I want to say I have grown a lot in the past 20 years. And I have been through a lot, and I have learned a lot. And today I look at things and go, I have the minimal. I don't need it. I don't get it. Occasionally, do I treat myself? Sure. But with something I'm going to use, not something I'm going to buy, look at, and go, oh my God, this is great, and then put it away somewhere. Take that money and do something good with it. Put it away for a trip. I'd rather pay for an experience than for a pair of shoes that's going to sit in the closet for me to 3 years later go, oh my God, I forgot I bought those. Right? Use that money to help someone in need. Use that money to upgrade your home. Everybody, if you have a house, you know you have repairs and upgrades that need to be done all the time. You know, things like that. I'm not saying don't spend money, but I'm saying do what's reasonable. You know, I know a lot of people probably don't agree with me. Oh, but if I enjoy it, I get that. There's a difference between enjoying something and doing something because you feel the need to do it. There's a difference. But again, even, collecting things, it's like, well, how much stuff can you have? I mean, whatever, to each their own. It's not my thing. So, it's about, for me, this conversation is more about the mental and emotional reasons why we need or feel the need to always get things, buy things, do things. I don't know. For some people, I know people personally who feels very competitive, like, oh, well, I did this and I did that and we went here and we went there. And I'm like, okay. But when you have conversation with that person, that's all the conversation ever is. I'm like, wow, good for you. When they're like, oh, hi, how are you? I was like, oh, I'm good. Oh, yeah. Did I tell you we went here? I'm like, did you even care what I said? It's people, I think some people, again, mentally and emotionally are just not happy people, and they do things to be happy. And if that includes going on trips or excursions or buying things or whatever it may be, well, then whatever, to each his own. So another part of wanting things all the time is this: rejection. So now what does that mean? Well, exactly what it says. I feel like if I don't stay up with the times and what everybody else is doing, people won't like me. People won't be my friend, right? I'm going to feel rejected. I don't want to be rejected. So therefore, I might go broke doing this, but I'm going to buy everything I need to make sure I look like I'm supposed to according to my friends. And again, you know what? If your friends were truly your friends, they wouldn't care what you look like, what you did. As long as you were yourself, that's all that matters. I have a very dear friend who is 72 and she still lives like she's a hippie back in the 60s and 70s. And I love her to death because she's authentic. She's eccentric, she's fun, she's happy, and she does her own thing. She doesn't care. She dresses the way she wants. She acts the way she wants. It's who she is. Okay, you can either love them or leave them. It's like maybe she's not for everybody, but you know what? She's my friend and I love her as she is because that's who she is. And she doesn't care what other people think. It's perfect, right? And that's how it should be. So stop worrying about being rejected by other people or society or through clubs, because a lot of people, oh, I belong to a club. Well, that's great. But don't do it because you want to feel accepted. Do it because the club is offering you something you would enjoy, right? There's a difference. A lot of great cards today. 3 great cards in a row, 3 of them, which means the I don't know, the gray area. And here's that card, confusion. So what do? How am I going to find people like me who, are not worried about what everybody else thinks? And how do I stop worrying about what everybody else thinks? By just doing it. Tell yourself, I do not need other people's approval to be who I am. I am who I am, and I love who I am. I am authentic, right? The more you work on yourself, that's when this happens. Recovery. Recovery is the key to being your authentic self. Letting go of what no longer serves you. If you had a tough bringing up, a tough childhood, maybe a tough marriage where you were made to feel less than. Maybe you were a victim of abuse, whether it be mental, emotional, physical, whatever. Get some therapy. Learn to get that stuff out, whatever it may be. Get some coaching, some therapy, some Reiki, whatever you need, okay? So that you can get to your recovery position to learn to live life and enjoy life and be okay with yourself and love yourself enough to be able to sit still and not care that you have nothing to do, to be able to sit still and not feel the need to purchase things just so I feel better, or to do codependent drugs or alcohol or any of those things. A lot of people do the addictive drugs and alcohol because they're trying to hide or drown their feelings. Don't do that. Drowning your feelings in alcohol or drugs or any other addictive behavior does not make them go away. It does not. It may make you forget about them for a little bit, but guess what? They're still there. Think of it this way: dirty dishes in the sink. You walk in the kitchen, you're like, oh my God, dirty dishes. Well, now if you walk out of the kitchen and go to a different room of the house, there's no dirty dishes, right? But yet once you walk back into the kitchen, they're still there. So are your feelings. So don't look to smoking and alcohol and drugs and eating addictions and it doesn't change a thing. Therapy changes things. Talking to someone who can help you, finding support groups that can help you, coming for Reiki can help you, coming for coaching can help you. Whatever you think is best for you, that's what you should do. Truly. So have faith. That's your next card. Have faith. The faith is an indigo color. Indigo is your third eye. So when you really look and see within yourself what's going on, having faith, trusting, believing, you can change. You can do things differently. You start to realize that, guess what? Your life is just that. Your life, your physical human self. And that's all it is. When you're born, you come into this world with nothing. When you die, you leave with nothing. So guess what? Accumulating and hoarding and overprocessing everything in this world just to make you feel better is not going to make you feel better, because when you're gone alone, right? To the other side to meet up with your other loved ones, your angels, your guides, whoever's over there for you, okay? So again, and I think, well, think about this. This just popped into my head. I think I had said this a long, long time ago. When you pass away and your obituary comes out, is it going to say so-and-so passed on this day, say after a long illness or whatever reason, right? They were known for, now what would you want to be known for? Hoarding a bunch of stuff they didn't need, right? Abuse of drugs or alcohol or food or anything else that you can be addicted to. Did you want to be known for hiding out at home because you didn't feel accepted by the world? Are these the things you want to read? No, of course not. When your obituary comes out, the person that is still here on this earth who offers the information to the funeral home for the newspaper, okay? This person was a beautiful soul who lived their life to the fullest. They were kind, they were generous, and so on and so on and so on and so on. Now, why do they say those words? Because that is who you are. And a lot of times we don't believe it. We do not see ourselves the way other people see us. So think about that. How do you want to be remembered? And remember that you're always looked at by others in good light with beautiful eyes. They don't look at your faults. They don't look at what you did wrong. They look at the greatest pieces of you. So you don't need all your junk. You don't need to hoard anything. You don't need addictive substances. You don't need bad friends, right? You don't need bad relationships. All you need is you and your happiness and your joy, and a happiness for self, not just everyone else, for you. Love yourself, be happy with yourself. I always say, and I learned this myself personally, 12 years alone without a spouse or a partner, and I'm perfectly happy. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But you know what? I'm okay. Because I've learned that my life is mine. I do not need someone to fulfill anything in my life. I am in charge of my life. I am in charge of how I feel. So therefore, I am happy. I know there's many of you out there who probably are in bad relationships. Get out of it. Life is too damn short, okay? I mean, I was just talking with somebody today here at Sisters. They're like, wow, congratulations, it's been 20 years. Isn't it funny how time goes by? You remember people and their kids when their kids are small, and now their kids are like out of college, and it's like, whoa, what happened? Well, guess what? That's your life. one day you're going to turn around and go, oh my God, where did the time go? Am I happy yet? It's not just going to happen. I wish, that maybe an angel could come down and wave their magic wand or flutter their wings or do whatever they're going to do and boom, make you happy. But they can't do that either, because you are here to live a life, to experience life, to go through issues, go through problems, go through circumstances, to learn about yourself. Everything we do and go through, we are learning a life lesson. It is teaching us something. So if you haven't figured it out yet, keep going. Keep going, because you will figure it out. There you go. Perseverance. Orange. Orange is your sacral chakra. That is your emotions. Yes, I will persevere, right? Of course you will. Of course you will. You just have to keep on going. Life is full of ups and downs and sideways, and it's crazy. It's crazy. And you could be going through holy hell and back right now, and then finally one day you realize it's over, and you're grateful for that and you're happy about that. But then at the same time, now your emotions are all over the place, because whatever that holy hell and back was, you have to heal from. Give yourself patience, give yourself grace to get through the healing process of anything that you've been through. You're going to get mad. You're going to be sad. You're going to be angry. You're going to get mad again. You're going to be okay. Then you go back to being sad. Then you go back to being bitter. And then it's back to sadness. And then maybe you're okay for a little while longer. And then maybe you have a day where you're kind of like, whatever. And then you go back to being okay again. And then the okay parts become much bigger than the sad parts. And before you know it, the sad parts, they've fallen off to the side. How long does that take? It all depends on you. How long are you willing to hold on to it? That is a big one. That is a big one. So, don't mind me. I'm just trying to pick cards here. So here it is. Emotionally, time to let go. Completion. And as you can see, the woman is kneeling down next to a grave. It's time to let go. Let go what no longer works, okay? Let go of what is no longer part of your life. Just as someone passes on, so do your situations. They pass on, so get past it. Let it go. It's over, okay? This is about healing your emotions. It's about, again, finding happiness for yourself. Happiness, joy, laughter, love, compassion, all these great things, that's where you need to get to. And again, it takes time. So I'm not saying be lazy and like when I get around to it. I mean, work on it. Work on it, work on it, work on it. And the last card is expansion, and it's blue, and that's your throat chakra. So your throat chakra, it's speak your mind, speak your truth, be in your integrity, be creative. You want expansion, you want that, what do you call it, that poof, right? Your mind blown kind of thing. You're having your aha moment, however you want to call it, whatever you want to call it. When you finally, your mind opens, your heart opens, and you have that clarity, that's expansion. Like, oh, I get it now, right? The more you work on yourself and the more you start learning to let go and to heal and so on and so forth. No more hoarding, no more shopping for no reason because it makes me happy in the moment. No more overeating just because food makes me happy, because again, you're not going to be happy 5 minutes after you eat it. Any of those things, those are not who you are. That's something you're feeling in the moment. So guess what? Turn it around, do something else. I think I'm going to eat because I'm bored. No, you're not. You're going to get up and go outside and go for a walk. No, you're not. You're going to pick up your book and read. You're going to pick up your sewing, your knitting, your crocheting, your, I don't know, working on your car, meaning fun car, not work. But it's like, what makes you happy? I mean, are you somebody who likes to, work with wood and make, say, birdhouses or shelves or, those kinds of things. Whatever your hobby is, work on your hobby. Maybe, do some journaling, do some meditation. Again, go for a walk, go to the gym, take a ride down by the beach. Tell yourself, I don't need to do these things. Those things really don't make me happy. They only make me happy in the moment. When you do the things that you love, those things help you to be happy. in a way that is showing the true self. Because this is who I am. I enjoy reading. I enjoy hanging out at the beach. I enjoy, and that's when you're saying I enjoy this, this, and this, it's because that's who you are. Those are the things that bring you joy, bring you happiness, not the other things we pick up just because we need to fulfill a void, or we're bored, or we feel like shopping can make us happy, spending money and racking up credit card bills and making the storage unit people happy and rich. And then, of course, we have too much stuff and there's too much in storage. I got to get rid of some of this stuff. Then we call the junk removal guys, and then we complain that the earth is being tortured by us because look at all the plastics and look at this and look at that. And it's like, oh my God, it's a never-ending vicious circle. So if you don't want to contribute to the earth having so much garbage, stop buying so much garbage. So again, you may agree with me, you may not, but for now, think about it. What is holding you to not being happy, or what's making you happy? But think of it in the sense of mental and emotional versus just that physical 5-minute pleasure of, oh my God, I bought a new sweater. Okay? Think about it deep down inside. What is holding you back? What is making you feel like you're not good enough? Why? Think of it. Why? Why do I feel this way? And why do I do what I do? Like I said, when I was married, I was always finding excuses on my days off. Oh, I'm running errands, which, yeah, some of it was errands, but some of it was just spending money on stuff I could have either waited or I didn't need, And it's because I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy in my marriage. I felt like the house was just like so much negative energy, and anything that could make me happy would definitely help me to bring up my positive energy. But again, it doesn't last because it's not real. It's not real, okay? So think about that. All right, I'm going to pull a card from my past life deck. I'm asking for a message according to our conversation today. So here we go. Oh, wrong half, sorry. Where are we? There you go. Well, there it is, angels. Angels. Angels and orphans. Okay, so what does that mean for you? It means your angels are always with you. If you need them, call on them. If you need help, call on them. If you just need to talk, call on them. Whatever it is. Orphans, what's an orphan? A person who's been left behind. Somebody who has been abandoned, given up. And when you've been in life, again, don't take it literally, take it figuratively. Have you been in a position, a situation, or where the person or persons who made you feel like you were orphaned because they didn't bother with you? It could have been a friend that did it to you, or a so-called friend, I should say. So think about that. How do I feel like I've been abandoned or orphaned, where now I feel the need to do all these things because those things make me happy, but that's not true happiness. So think about that. Keep that in mind, okay? So if you catch yourself doing something and all of a sudden that little voice in your head goes, you really need to do that? Listen to it, because it knows better than you do. All right, guys, so thanks again so much. It's been a nice talk with you this week, and I will talk to you again on next week. Have a great night.